Yo, RX back with another recap of UFC 303 Pereira versus Procházka 2. We back with another recap and of a very disappointing pay-per-view. I'm very sad I have to fucking word like that and say that in general, because I did not want to call this card disappointing, but it was, in my opinion. It was not a bad card, don't get me wrong, it was far from a bad card if that's your really good card compared to what we have got this year. But overall, especially with the hype going into it, especially the hype I had for it, it did not live up to it. It's not, again, it was not a bad card, but I was getting 300 vibes from this, and it could not even get close to 300. So, again, very fun card at times. It wasn't the worst card in the world, but it definitely underperformed, disappointed, mid, I guess. So, but it was still a fine card, and I'm ready to recap it. A couple hours after it ended, about 2 hours to be honest. So, yeah, let's, don't feel like rambling on for too long. I already got a lot to talk about as is with this card, because a lot happened. So, let's just get right into it. 13 fights. Before I do, please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of 2024. And, unless I'm forgetting to say something, which I'm trying to think. No, I'm not thinking of anything. So, you want to recap some fights? So do I. Let's get right into it. 13 fights in total, a lot happened, and we start, of course, on the early prelims with a fight that was very good, and, a little surprising. A little surprising, very impressive. Many adjectives you could use for this fight. As we start tonight in the bantamweight division with a fight between Vinicius Oliveira versus Ricky Simón. Very good fight to begin the night. For 3 rounds, Oliveira kind of just pieced up Simón on the feet. Kind of just kept it at his range, did the better work, and beat Simón pretty handily, which is very surprising. Not a clear 30-27 in my opinion. No idea what Camacho watched, but whatever. Simón's only offense was maybe 2 takedowns, and he checked the leg kick of Oliveira's in round 2 that hurt Oliveira, but that kind of didn't mean much for too long, so it was kind of just a Vinicius Oliveira masterclass, which is kind of an insane thing to say against Ricky Simón. So, but man, it was a very impressive performance, very fucking impressive. And definitely the way you put your name on the map as a young prospect in the bantamweight division, no less. So, fucking starting the card against a veteran like Simón as a big underdog. That's how you look amazing. That's how you start a card. So, good fucking performance by Vinicius, who I'll continue talking about him for a second. This kid is good. This kid is really fucking good. His debut, kind of underwhelming outside. Like, if you take away the KO, it was not a great performance. But now, you look at, like, him on a full camp versus someone he's actually trained for. Dude looked amazing. His takedown defense looked fantastic. His cardio looked pretty good. He did gas, but it was more in the 3rd round than it was the 2nd. Kid looked amazing. In the hardest and biggest fight of his career, he passed with flying goddamn colors, and he just put his name in the hat for bantamweight in a big way. And yeah, he's good. Vinicius is good. His striking is crisp. He has good power, good timing. He's good, man. He's long for the weight class at 5'9", 70.5-inch reach. Dude's pretty fucking good, and he's definitely a prospect to watch. Yes, again, his debut was very, a much to be desired, but to come out in this fight as an underdog against a veteran like Simón and to look as good as he did, now that's impressive. So, and the only thing I'm thinking is, how good is Sopaj that he had Vinicius on the ropes? Simón never did. So, there's levels to this, I guess. Sopaj is a fucking... This fight just made Sopaj look even fucking better, so... Yeah, what a fucking performance by Vinicius. And to talk about his opponent, Ricky Simón. Ricky... really looked off this fight. His striking was kind of non-existent. His ground game was kind of neutralized. His cardio actually looked fine. That looked fine the whole time. But he kind of just looked completely off in there. He looked like he really didn't have any idea what to do against Vinicius. Like, he couldn't really get on the inside. He really couldn't get him down at all. He fucking really just couldn't. He couldn't hurt him. Vinicius really he really never earned Vinicius's respect, so that's why Vinicius kept kind of just fighting how he fought, which was very disrespectful. Just, what are you gonna do? And that's why Vinicius cruised his way to a fucking win here pretty easily. Simón just looked off. I don't know, like, this was not the dude we saw fight Song Yadong a year ago. This was not the guy we saw fight Jack Shore 2 years ago. Fox is saying the guy we saw fight Mario Bautista 6 months ago, which is very, very intriguing. So, do I want to chalk it up to an off night? I don't hate that. Do I want to chalk it up to just Vinicius being that good? That works also. I'm not really sure. Ricky is a very good fighter, I think. He just looked really off. Really fucking off. It looked a lot worse than usual. If this fight was going into the later rounds, I really thought it would favor Ricky. Not really. Not really at all, so... The veteran got beat. And now that's 3 L's in a row. I don't think you cut Ricky. I think he, being a fucking veteran, a former ranked guy, a very good fighter, I think he should get one more chance. I don't think you cut him. I think cutting him would kind of be stupid to an extent, because he'll go fucking take over PFL easily. So, give him one more fight, give him a little bit of step down. Because clearly Vinicius on paper was, in execution, it was far from a step down. And, yeah, let's just see what's next for Ricky. He's only 31 years old, so he's not old. He's not even been fighting, like, he's only 8-5 in the UFC, so it's not like he's been fucking... He's not a dude who takes a lot of damage in his fights either. He's just kind of... It's weird. Really weird performance here by Ricky Simón. Not really sure what else to say. The only thing I know I have left to say is, who should I fight next? With the first fight ideas of the card. Vinicius, ginormous win here, boosting him up right into the fucking upper echelon of the division. Who does he fight? To beat Ricky Simón in your second fight, that's impressive. And again, that gives you a big boost up. Who? There's some options. The one thing is, where does the UFC think Vinicius fights next? Because you could right off rip give him a ranking fight. Like, beating Ricky Simón in your second fight, he can go automatically. You can make a case for him fighting Jonathan Martinez or someone along those lines. But if they want to go more of a conservative route, I really don't know. Cody Garbrandt I saw thrown around. I don't like that fight. And then some fights I don't hate the idea, but I kind of feel like they're a step down. Like, he could fight someone like a Miles Johns or a fucking Victor Henry, but I feel like that's a step down, so I don't hate the idea of him, Johnson Martinez. I think that's an intriguing idea. I'm not seeing many other great ideas for Martinez. Ranked 14th coming off the Aldo loss. Outside of fighting maybe Dominic Cruz, I'm not seeing many other ideas for him. Munoz should fight Yanis. Saeed, he already fought for Johnson Martinez, of course. And then I don't really know anyone else who could really deserve that ranking. So I don't hate the idea of Vinicius Oliveira and Rick Johnson Martinez. I think that'd be a very intriguing fight. I could see either guy winning. It'd be a really fun fight because both guys are really good at using their kicks. I don't think Martinez is that undersized. Yeah, 1 inch shorter and a 1 inch, so he's literally an inch shorter in both categories. I don't hate the idea of Vinicius Oliveira and Johnson Martinez. I think it works. I think it fucking works, man. So I don't hate the idea. If they want to fucking give Vinicius a fight, a good one at that, after beating Simón, that makes sense. That's not a step down. Why not Johnson Martinez? I like it. And then for Ricky Simón, take some time off and get back on a horse. Who could he fight? Saeed Nurmagomedov. I don't hate him against the Cody Garbrandt or Davy Grant. Douglas Silva de Andrade. A lot of good options for him. Cody Stamen, like a veteran, a good veteran to fight. I think that'd be intriguing to see. I don't give him a fucking another tough veteran. Don't make him fight Rinya Nakamura or Farid Basharat. Like, give him another veteran to fight. Like I said, Cody Garbrandt would be interesting. Victor Henry wouldn't be terrible. David Grant would be fun. A fun fight like that, I think, works pretty well. So let's see Ricky in one of those fights. I don't hate Ricky and Cody Garbrandt, but Cody Garbrandt's probably gonna fight sooner rather than later. So I think Simón should take some time off. Probably take the rest of the year off. Come back January, February next year, even even December would work better. So I don't hate him and Cody Garbrandt, but if they don't want to do that, I get it. I like that fight, but I do think there's better fights for Cody. So let's just wait and see what happens. For Ricky, let's just see who they give him next. I don't think he should get cut. I think that's fucking insane. And I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens next. Simple as that. But yeah, very good fight to open the night. A great fucking performance from Vinicius Oliveira. And who should he fight next? I really like the idea of him versus Johnson Martinez. I think that's a very intriguing fight, a very fun fight, a logical step up. And why not? You just beat Ricky Simón, a veteran of the division who's been ranked a lot in the past. Why not go up and fight a dude coming off a loss, a pretty bad one at that? See how he does. So I'm down to see Vinicius Oliveira and Johnson Martinez. Why not? You gave Vinicius a long shot fight here and he won. Why not a ranking? I'm down to see it. Okay. Yeah, not very much I'll say. Very good fight to begin the night. Very good showing by the bantamweights as always, especially Vinicius Oliveira. And yeah, not very much I'll say. Good fight to open the night. Good upset by Vinicius Oliveira, and I'm happy I picked the underdog. After that, we head to our second fight of the night in the flyweight division. A very meh fight. Not one of the one of the worst fights of the night. Fuck, I don't even know. I don't think it'd be top 3, and that's how bad some fights could have been on this card. But this fight was not very good. It was very, I don't know, not really my kind of fight. As in our second fight of the night, we head to flyweight 4, Tsuruya versus Carlos Hernandez. This is a grappling match. If I need to fucking explain what happened in one sentence, this was a grappling match. For the first 2 rounds, Hernandez and Tsuruya had a really good grappling match. Tsuruya was getting the better of Hernandez, but it was competitive. Tsuruya easily bagged the first 2 rounds, and then in round 3 he was gassed and Hernandez really took over, winning the round, but it was not enough to win the fight because he needed a finish, and Tsuruya walks out still undefeated with a clear 29-28 decision. Yeah, very underwhelming fight. I'll talk about Tsuruya first because he did not impress me. He went to an extent life and death with a fucking layup like Carlos Hernandez, a dude who you should not be going life and death with. If Ray wants to be looked at as one of these great prospects like Al Nascimento and Tetsuo Taira, for example, you have to look great against a guy like Carlos Hernandez, like those two did. So, I get he's young, he's only, 24? He's 22 years old, he's 10-0, but to be this hyped up at minus 500 almost, against not a very good fighter like Carlos Hernandez, I expect better. I expect a lot better. I get he's young, but I really would have liked to see a little bit better from Ray here. I don't think the kid sucks. I do think the kid has talent, but I did not really get to see a lot of it here. His ground game's good. His ground game is really good. But when a guy like Carlos Hernandez is giving you issues on the ground, how are you going to do when you fight the better grapplers of the division? Like, let's be honest. If you saw this fight, and you tell me how you think Ray Tsuruya does versus a Cody Jourdain, a Jimmy Flick, a Al Nascimento, a Tetsuo Taira, a Muhammad Mukayev, like the better grapplers of the division, how do you honestly think he does against them? Because to be honest, Takeru and Bekov, I don't. If Carlos Hernandez is doing this good of work against you, how are better fighters going to do so? I know the kid is 22 years old, I know he's young, but I really would have liked to see a better performance here from him since he is very hyped up. He does have talent, but he definitely underperformed here in a layup fight. To talk about his opponent, Carlos Hernandez, he overperformed. He fucking looked great, to be honest. He came in here and gave Ray a really good test, which I guess that's what the UFC, I don't think that's what the UFC wanted completely. Like, the best thing to come out of this fight is showed Ray can have a tough fight and win, but at the same time, he barely did, because, like, even the commentators said it. If this was a 5-rounder, Hernandez wins. And I'll add, he might have finished him, because Ray was dead tired by the 3rd round, so yeah, Hernandez overperformed. I'll give him credit. I counted him out, but yeah, he overperformed here, so good for him, man. He overperformed. First good performance he's had in a hot minute, so yeah, it's a loss, but I feel like he got as much out of this fight, if not more, than Tsuruya did, so good for Hernandez. The most mid fighter you can think of, but he looked good here. I'll give him that much. Gotta give props when they're due. Not very much else to say. Unless I'm going to say something, which I doubt, because again, this fight was not very good. Let's get right into some fight ideas. I don't know if I'm going to have one for Tsuruya at this moment in time, because after your debut, you have to have a pretty crazy debut for me to give you a good fight idea. So for Tsuruya, after a very underwhelming debut, I could see the UFC giving him another kind of step down fight to just kind of build back confidence, get a good fucking win under your belt. So I could see him fighting someone shitty like Ode Osborne, Victor Altamirano, Jake Hadley, some shit like that. But if they want to give him a real test, throw him in there with Jimmy Flick or fucking Jimmy Flick, Rafael Esteban, fucking Charles Johnson even. So There's some good names out there for Ray, and I do think Ray has the talent to beat him, but I would like to see him show that more than me thinking that, so I'm not really going to give Ray a fight idea. Flyweight's actually looking really good right now, by the way. That's kind of insane to see how good Flyweight is right now. But, yeah, no real fight idea. Very, very disappointing debut for Ray, but I do think the kid has potential. I think the kid is decent. He's 22 years old. Give him time. Give him time. I'm not going to fucking give up on him yet. I do think the kid has potential. But you did look pretty average versus Carlos Hernandez, so I expect a little better. But, yeah, not very much else to say. Win's a win. He won his debut. He keeps his undefeated record. And he, let's see how far the kid can go. No fight idea. Ray, hard to find one. And Hernandez, I really don't care. So, yeah, not very much else to say. Not a great fight. It was okay. Not great. After that, we get to our first god-awful fight of the night, and there's a few on this card. And this is close to taking the cake, because holy shit, this was dreadful to watch. As in our third fight of the night, we head to heavyweight for a very boring fight between Martin Buday versus Andrei Arlovski. Yeah, this fight was god-awful. I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this fight because it was, like I said, fucking terrible. What I'll say is this. For 15 minutes, two fat guys hugged. I'm not lying. For 15 minutes, they were in the clinch. I'm not fucking lying to you. Like, they did maybe if I had to count how long they were not hugging, a minute and a half in a 15-minute fight. Like, they literally just hugged for 15 minutes. It was so fucking dreadful to watch. One side of the coin, you're like, why the fuck is Buday not just knocking him out? One good punch and you might fucking kill him. The other side of the coin is, Arlovski, please fucking retire, you old fuck. So, yeah, not gonna waste time on this fight. It was so fucking bad. Neither guy deserved to win this fight. Neither guy wanted to win this fight. You cannot tell me they actually cared. Because if you wanted to win a fight and win this fight, you would fight better than how these two did. And, yeah, fucking truly just a god-awful fight. And I can't say much. No fight idea, because I don't care. I don't want to see Martin Buday fight again, because holy shit does he suck. And Arlovski, bro, please, for the love of fuck, retire. You're 45 years old. You don't even show up to fight anymore. You literally just get a paycheck. And it's dreadful to watch you fight, so please fucking retire. That's all I gotta say. Terrible fight, and just continues to show why heavyweight is the worst male division in the UFC. I said male because women's bantamweight is the worst division in the UFC, but heavyweight's right behind them, and it's a close fucking race. When you're close for women's bantamweight, you have a problem. But yeah, nothing really else to say. Awful fight. And now to go to our early featured prelim, we have a fight that I enjoyed watching for 15 minutes. I enjoyed this fucking beating. As in our featured prelim, we had to strawweight for a very entertaining fight, in my opinion, between Gillian Robertson versus Michelle Waterson-Gomez. To talk about fights that I don't need to say much. For 15 minutes, Gillian Robertson beat the fuck out of Michelle Waterson. 30-24. Bare minimum 30-25. Round 2 and 3 were complete 10-8s. And probably round 1 as well. In round 1, Robertson got a takedown and dominated. Round 2, Robertson got a takedown, dominated. Round 3, Michelle Waterson shot the takedown and got reversed and dominated. Yeah, if you want to say I'm wrong, go watch the fight. What I just said is perfectly accurate. I don't need to say much else. Gillian Robertson looked great for 15 minutes. Showed she had a good gas tank. good fight IQ, just doing what she has to do to win, and it was a great game plan and a great performance from Robertson, and a very easy fight on paper. And now she gets her second win in a row. She is a ranked fighter, which I was wrong about in my breakdown, and now she beat number 14, and she's gonna climb the rankings. So see how far Gillian can go. Gillian has really looks like she's finally hitting her stride in UFC. 4-1 in her last 5. That one is to Tabitha Ricci. She's looking good, man. She's only 29 years old, which is insane. And she's looking better. Her striking still has a lot to be desired. With her grappling is great. Her gas tank looks good. She could be a good fighter. Do I think she's gonna be champion? God no. Do I think she's gonna be top 5? No. Top 10? I think you're pushing it. I think her ceiling could be 11. 10, and I mean 10 at most. Like, if you honestly ask me how I think she does against some ranked fighters, loses, probably wins, already lost. I would actually like to see that fight. That would be an interesting fight. Probably a good chance she would win that. Probably wins. That'd be interesting. And then I think she probably loses these fights. So she could do some good work. Her grappling being as good as it is would lead her to get a lot of wins. Like, I know saying she beats Marina Rodriguez is insane, but Marina Rodriguez can't stop a takedown. So, but Jen Robinson, very good fighter, really hitting her stride now at 29 years old on a 2-fight winning streak. I know she was on one before and she lost, but let's see if she can actually continue winning on this one. So, yeah, very good win for the Savage to continue her winning ways. So, good shit. And then for Michelle Waterson, I'm not even click on her profile. I don't care enough. She's a joke. 8 L's in a row. She's a terrible fucking fighter, and I'm happy she retired because I never have to watch her again. One of the fucking most annoying fighters the UFC has ever hyped up, just because it's not even her fault to an extent. It's the UFC's fault for always hyping her up, giving her these fucking spotlights. She sucked, and she still sucked. She always sucked, and you'll never change my mind. Like, she was never good, and the only reason UFC pushed her was not because she's a good fighter. I'm not stupid. I know that's not why they fucking pushed her. They pushed her for, it's in her fucking nickname. It's a kind of a you're pushing it, in my opinion. I think you got better options. But, yeah, I don't get Dana's fucking love for Michelle Waterson, but finally I never have to see that again. Because, yeah, she's fucking gone. She retired, thank God. And, good riddance. Good fucking riddance. Only thing I have to say now is who should Gillian Robertson fight next? She 100% deserves a higher ranked opponent. Who, though? I've seen Amanda Hebos thrown around. I don't hate that idea. I don't hate a Luana Pinheiro fight. I think, like, they're neck and neck next to each other now. Two rankings apart. I like the Luana Pinheiro fight. Do I see a better fight for Pinheiro? Maybe Tisha Pennington, to give Tisha back in the rankings. But besides that, and I think you could even do a better fight for Tisha than that. Tisha could fight. Fuck, they might just give Tisha fucking Waterson's fucking ranking when they take Waterson out the rankings since she's gone. Yeah, you could do a lot better with Tisha. She could fight fucking, well, actually, I don't know. But for Gillian, if she doesn't fight Pinheiro, who does she fight? Does she fight Aspen Lucindo? I don't love that fight for Gillian. I really don't care why she would do that fight. She just fought Ricci. Loopy is booked. Hill deserves a better. Hill should fight someone else. So, and like Hebos, no one knows what weight class she even fucking fights at anymore. So yeah, I think I like Gillian Robertson, Luana Pinheiro, unless I'm blanking out a name or something. Like, the only problem is, again, who does Tisha Pennington fight? Because the perfect fight for Tisha is Luana Pinheiro to get her back at the rankings. But if they don't want to do that, then don't do that. I'm down to Gillian Robertson and Luana Pinheiro. I think Robertson wins that fight, in my opinion. That fight didn't happen, right? I'm thinking about Pinheiro fighting the other redhead in Random Marcos, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, yes. I'm thinking, because I remember Pinheiro fighting a redhead and that was Random Marcos, so, yeah. But, yeah, I think I like Gillian Robertson and Luana Pinheiro. A much-deserved climb up the rankings for Robertson, and a much-deserved fight down the rankings for Pinheiro. Let's see it. I think Robertson wins that fight, so let's get booked. Not very much else to say. Yeah. Just not much else to say about this fight in general. It was a Gillian Robertson domination, and about what I expected from this fight outside of not getting a submission. Pretty much what I predicted. So, good win for Gillian Robertson to send the Karate Hottie packing. Finally, thank you, Gillian. And who should she fight next? I like Gillian Robertson versus Luana Pinheiro. I think that's a good fight, and I would like to see that. Not Gillian. I don't think that's a good fight, but I think that's a good fight when it comes to logic-wise. There we go. So let's see it. Again, Gillian should win that fight, in my opinion. I think she's the better fighter, and let's see it. Gillian Robertson, Luana Pinheiro. Book it. Not very much else to say. Good win for Gillian Robertson. So those were the early prelims. Not very much great to talk about. Vinicius was a good fight. These two fights were not very good, and then this was okay. Very disappointing early prelims. They looked very good on paper, and in execution they were very bad, so yeah. But then we have these prelims, which were the opposite. They were very, very, very good. That's why pretty much everyone has a bonus outside the guy who missed weight, so yeah, pretty weak early prelims, but now we got a pretty stacked prelims. So, unless I'm gonna talk about some on the early prelims, which I don't think I am, let's get right into the prelims. As we begin with a fucking just wow. I can't say much else besides wow. As in our first fight of the prelims, we had in the bantamweight division Payton Talbott versus Yanis Ghemmouri. Payton Talbott is him. I'm not even gonna. He KO'd him in 20 seconds with a beautiful right hand. Payton Talbott is that guy. Payton Talbott is that thing. The kid is a fucking issue for the division, and he's getting better and better and better, which is scarier and scarier and scarier. He's only 25 years old and he's this good already. He's already a top 15 level fighter at 25 years old. Like, this kid's legit, and he's going to be a goddamn problem for anybody and everybody. He is that good. He has power, he has cardio, he has grappling, he has striking. He's gonna beat him. He's going to be one of those ones, man. I fucking saw him on Contender Series. I was like, yeah, this guy is special. Saw him in his debut, looked great. Against Cameron Simón, looked flawless. Against Yanis here, could not have a better fight. Payton Talbott is him. Not much else I can say, man. The kid is special. And I got nothing to say about Yanis. Dude's a fucking joke. Only thing left to say for Payton, and this is gonna be an interesting one. Who should he fight next? For Payton Talbott? Ooh, there's some intriguing names out there. I could he called out Adrian Yanez. I don't hate that fight. I would love to see that fight. I don't think the UFC's gonna do that fight though. I think Yanez should fight Pedro Munoz. So that leaves Talbott with a lot of options. So who does he fight? Raoni Barcelos is always a good option. Douglas Silva de Andrade is always a good option. David Grant's always a good option. I like the Cody Garbrandt fight. I really fucking like the Cody Garbrandt fight. I think it's a really fun fight. Yeah, it probably goes really bad for Cody, no love. But it would be really fucking interesting. Victor Henry would be interesting. Said Nurmagomedov would be fucking insane. Ricky Simón would be interesting. I'm really liking Cody Garbrandt and Payton Talbott though. Like, we all know Cody hates Sean O'Malley. Now, let's see if he can knock off O'Malley Jr. I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. I mean, it'd be a really intriguing fight. I might say, do I think they would do that fight? No. They don't want to fucking kill Cody Garbrandt. But am I against seeing that fight happen? God, no. And I'm a Cody Garbrandt fan. Talbot would fucking kill Cody. So, I'm leaning Cody and Talbot, man. I think it's a fun fight. Why not? Why the fuck not? I know I've been saying for a while now, do Cody Garbrandt and Davey Grant. But when there's a fight that just comes along that's too good not to do and that is better than the original idea, I think you gotta do it, man. Let's see Talbot and Cody, man. I'm leaning that fight. I think it'd be fun. Would be a nice highlight reel for somebody. I think we know who. I'm down to see it. Cody Garbrandt, Payton Talbot. Book it. Not very much else to say. I don't know what to say about Payton Talbot anymore. The kid's just legit. 25 years old, 9-0. Barriault has looked pretty as close to flawless in the UFC as you can look. The kid's legit. He's gonna be a problem. Can't wait. I can't fucking wait. Only thing left to say now is who should he fight next? I like Payton Talbot versus Cody Garbrandt. Sorry, Cody, but it would be really interesting to see what happens. I hope they do that fight. I don't think they will, but I would really, really like to see that fight. Let's do it, man. Let's fucking do it. Cody Garbrandt, Payton Talbot. Could be a co-main on a fucking fight night. Hell, if you want to put on a fucking featured prelim of a pay-per-view, that works also. I'd be down to see that. Let's do it. Payton Talbot, Cody Garbrandt. Look at Payton Talbot is that thing. All I can say. After that, we have to our second fight of the prelims. Another nice knockout and another really nice performance as we head up to featherweight for a very good performance and good knockout as we had Silva versus Jourdain. Not what I expected to happen in this fight, but I'm also not very shocked since I knew this was definitely a possibility that I did bring up in the breakdown. So, long story short, in round one, very close round throughout, but late in the round, Jourdain got dropped with something I don't remember, not gonna lie to you, but he did get dropped. Did make it to the end of the round, but again, he did get dropped, so Silva won the round. And then early in the round two, they were in a clinch, and they broke away from the clinch. Silva threw a beautiful uppercut and knocked Jourdain out. What a knockout. What a win for Silva. Shame he missed weight. It was truly a shame he missed weight, because this was a performance-worthy fight. This was a performance-worthy performance. So, wait, that makes sense. A performance bonus-worthy performance. There we go. And yeah, very, very good performance by Silva. Again, definitely the knockout was definitely something I did bring up in a breakdown, and it did happen. So, Silva proved me wrong. To talk about Silva first. This was the first time I've been impressed with Silva. I've not been impressed with Silva up to this point. I was not impressed on Contender Series. I was not impressed against Weston Wilson. I'm impressed now. To run through Charles Jourdain like that, that was impressive. Yeah, you missed weight, but I'll give you a break. That's the first time you've ever done it. Don't do it again. But I'll give him a break and say he looked great here. He looked fucking amazing. Again, to knock out a tough veteran like Charles Jourdain, that's a good man. And it wasn't like a lucky shot. He beat him up leading into that, so he fucking set that up and led into that, and it was a really good performance by him. Fighting Nerds have another good fighter to watch with Caballero, a bunch of fucking others. Their gym is just fucking pushing out talent right now. One of the hottest gyms in MMA right now. Carlos Prates, fucking you got Rufy, Prates, Silva, and Caio. Yeah, that's definitely a gym to keep an eye on, because they might be bringing a bout in sooner than later, if not multiple. So they're good. They're good. And Gene Silva's very good. He impressed me here. He has fucking bombs in his hands. He just needs to make weight. To talk about Charles Jourdain. Charles is just such an annoying fighter to try and read. One night he looks great, the next night he looks terrible, and this was one of his terrible nights. First time getting KO'd. Back to the drawing board, man. Jourdain really just up and down his UFC career lately. 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 wins, 2 losses. Can't really string anything together, can't really get a solid foundation under him. Yes. And that's what has kind of led him to being kind of just falling off. Like, there's a point in time where he was one of the brightest prospects in the division. Then he loses. Then he gets that height back. And he loses. So, Jourdain's not a bad fighter. That's the annoying thing. He's not a bad fighter. He just doesn't fucking fight like he's a good fighter half the time, so... yeah, I'm not really sure what to say. I don't think they're gonna cut Charles Jourdain. 6-7 is a really bad look, but he's only lost 2 in a row, and they were two very good fighters. So I think it's understandable, and he's a good fighter to always have around. So yeah, not what I expect to happen in this fight completely. I knew it could happen. I didn't think it would, but it did. And a really good performance by Gene Silva, man. About all I can say. Only thing left to say now is, who should they fight next? For Silva, a lot of options. Coming off a big win against Charles Jourdain, you could get some good fights. Who? Let's see. Hakeem Dawodu would be, Hakeem Dawodu. Those Hakeem Dawodu and Gene Silva, just for the face-off alone, would be intriguing. I might say Hakeem Dawodu, because that would be really intriguing. Him and David Onama would be a really fun fight. Nate Train would be fucking weird. But I really like the Hakeem Dawodu fight, just because that face-off between Silva and Hakeem would be so intense. It would be like a mini Pereira Jiří, because they're both just fucking angry, intense dudes. That would be good. I might say Hakeem and Gene Silva. But if not, if they don't want to do that fight again, you got David Onama, Nate Landwehr, JSP, Naimov, a lot of options, but I really like that Hakeem Dawodu fight. I think that's a very fun fight. So, see if they do it. And then for Charles Jourdain, my bad. Darren Elkins is right there. Fernando Padilla, I guess. Pat Sabatini. I don't hate the Sabatini idea. Definitely a winnable fight for Jourdain. JSP's on a 2-fight skid as well. I like actually JSP and Jourdain. That's not terrible. It would suck to see one of those two lose 3 in a row, but it makes sense. Billy Q is not a bad option. But I like a JSP fight right now. Both on a 2-fight skid. Both very good fighters. Both probably too good fighters to be on a 2-fight losing streak. So I don't hate that idea. I might say that. I might say JSP and Charles Jourdain. Sounds like a pretty good fight. Not very much I'll say. Really good performance by Gene Silva. Again, shame he missed weight because he did earn a bonus here, but gotta make the weight to get a bonus, so poor guy. But again, don't miss weight again, so I will still have sympathy for you for not getting a bonus here, but yeah, to get the weight in check. Besides that, who should they fight next? I like Gene Silva versus Hakeem Dawodu, and I like Charles Jourdain versus JSP. Dawodu and Silva would be one of the most intense fights ever, and Jourdain versus JSP makes a lot of sense. Both on 2 fight skids, both very good fighters. Let's see if we can get back in the win column. Not very much else to say. Book 'em. After that, we stay at featherweight for a fight that was very, very good. One of the better fights of the night. As we have a banger at featherweight as expected when you see these two on the fight card, let alone fighting each other. As we have Andrei, Fili versus Swanson. 2 dudes who have never had a boring fight, and they continue that moniker with this fight, which was very, very good. What can I say about this fight? It was a banger, as expected. In round 1, Fili looked very good, piecing up Cub, just having a better round. Round 2, Cub bounced back for a great round, definitely started getting into his flow. And in round 3 was razor close. Fili landed some good shots, Cub landed some good shots. Very close fight. I don't think there was a knockdown in this fight. Fili did get hurt a couple times in the, I believe, 3rd, maybe it was the 2nd as well. But yeah, it was a very close fight. I scored it for Cub Swanson, but the judges did lean towards Andrei Fili, which I'm okay with. And Andrei Fili got the W. A lot of people cried robbery with this one. Was it a robbery? I don't think so. Was it a very close fight? Yeah. And I scored for Cub Swanson, so fuck you. And I picked Fili, so again, fuck you. Yeah, very, 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 very good fight here between 2 very, very, very good fighters. And again, 2 dudes who have never had a boring fight because that ain't fun. So, yeah. Not really gonna say much about these guys, because what can I say about these two? Andrei Fili gets a win, gets back in the win column. Big win for him, biggest one he's got in a hot minute since probably Ige or even Charles Jourdain. He kinda needed this, 34 years old, coming off that vicious Ige knockout. He kinda needed this. So, 4 in the morning, good job. But, yeah, he continued. He's looking like he's getting the streak going of win 1, lose 1. So 34 years old, Ige can still, or Fili can still hang with the best of them. So let's see what's next for him. And then for Cub Swanson, another L. He still can hang to an extent, but he is so old. He's so fucking old. He really should be on a 3-fight losing streak. For him to win a fight at this point, kind of has to be against the worst of the worst, like Pineda, Gracie, and fucking Elkins. So he's not a bad fighter, but he definitely is not gonna be able to hang with the much better fighters. Like, especially unranked at featherweight. Like, if you put him in there with fucking. If you put him in there with, just to name some unranked guys off the top of my head, Nate Landwehr, Charles Jourdain, fucking Bill Algeo, David Onama, he's gonna get crushed. Like, he's gonna get fucking crushed. Like, Fili, 34 years old, he's old. Hakeem Dawodu, he's a weird fighter. But like, every time he fights someone good, he gets fucking annihilated, so. Yeah, Cub is past his prime by a long shot. He probably should retire. He ain't retired yet. He's not bad. Again, he's not a bad fighter at this point in his career, but he is definitely getting very long in the tooth, and he's definitely gonna need to start hanging up those gloves sooner than later. So, yeah, not very much else to say. Besides, a very good fight between 2 fun fighters, and now, who should they fight next? For Andrei Fili, I think he caught out Nate Landwehr, which would be a banger. But if not, you could probably find some good fights for him. I don't think he deserves the ranking fight. I think that's a little silly. You barely beat Cub Swanson. But Nate Landwehr would be a really fun fight. Billy Q is always a fun option, no matter who you are. Though I would say Billy Q or Nate Landwehr would be a fucking banger of a fight. Not really sure which or who they would give him. I wouldn't be shocked to give him Billy Q. I think they probably have bigger ideas for Landwehr. They really love Nate Landwehr, as we all do. So, David Onama as well is a good option. So, yeah, any of those options work. I don't think I'm gonna give a straight idea right now. But, yeah, Nate, Onama, or Billy, any of them would work for Fili. They would all be bangers. See what they do. And then for Cub Swanson, let's see who he fights next, man. I'm not sure who's the next oldest featherweight outside of Darren Elkins, who he already beat. So maybe they could get him a fight with someone old. Alex Caceres would be an interesting one. Let's see him just fight some old dude. Let's just see him fight an old guy. Fucking... Yeah, Alex Caceres, how old is Alex? Because I'm pretty sure Caceres is, almost, 37 or some bullshit? 36? I'm now to see Alex Caceres and Cub Swanson if that fight has never happened, which I don't believe it fucking has. Let me look. Has that fight ever happened? I'd be a little shocked if it has, because it feels like something I would remember. No, never happened. I'd not see Alex Caceres and Cub Swanson. I think that'd be a very good fight. Cub Swanson and Billy Q would be great as well. Either one of those two fights would be very good fights, so... I'm down to see either, so let's do it. Let's do either one of them. But, yeah, not very much else to say. Very good fight. It 1-5 the night bonus. I don't agree with that, but it was a very good fight. One of the better fights on the card. And who should they fight next? For Fili, either Nate Train or David Onama. And for Cub Swanson, either Billy Q or Alex Caceres. Is Caceres still ranked? I believe he might be. Oh no, Caceres today. Oh no, yeah, you do Cub Swanson, Alex Caceres. Yeah, that fight's perfect. I would love to see that fight, so let's do that. That fight. A cool retirement fight for Cub Swanson. Maybe fucking go to California. Be cool, man. It would be a pretty cool fight. Hope they do that. And then for Fili, Nate or Onama, either one would be a fucking banger. So let's see it. Not very much else to say. Very good fight. Good win for Fili. Cub feels like he got robbed. A lot of people do. I scored for him. I'm not saying robbery's up. It was a very good fight, and it was a very close fight. Simple as that. Not very much else to say besides that. And now time for the featured prelim. Not gonna waste much time on this fight because I don't care. As in our featured prelim in the middleweight division, we had Joe Pyfer versus Marc-André Barriault. Yeah, Joe Pyfer beat a can. Like he's good at. He will never beat a real fighter, so he just sticks beating up cans. In less than 90 seconds, he dropped Barriault and knocked him out cold. Shocker. No fight idea. I don't give a fuck who he fights next. I think he called out Paul Craig or some shit. I don't care. He's not good until he can prove actually something against a good fighter. I'm not going to even waste much breath on Joe Pyfer. You beat a shittier. You kind of literally beat the shittier version of Jack Hermanson. So good job. Pyfer's a fraud still. Barriault's a can. Who cares? Middleweight's pretty fucking terrible. They're gonna just give Pyfer a fraud, so. Another fraud he can easily beat, so who cares? I don't. That's all I gotta say. So those are the prelims. Very good prelims. Three really nice KOs and a fun veterans fight. Can't really ask for much else from the prelims. That's why they got a bunch of bonuses. And then if you factor in the early prelims, the really only bad fights were Tsuruya and Buday. Every other fight was really good. Oliveira was a banger. Gillian was a fun fight. Talbott, Silva, and Pyfer were good knockouts. Fili was a banger. Very solid prelims. Very few duds. But then we have the main card, which was a pack of what the fuck. So, without further ado, let's get right into this shit. So, prelims over. Let's get into the main card. Here we go, 55 minutes in, and we are going to completely skip over the main card opener because this was a complete robbery. As expected, I'm not shocked. MVP clearly won this fight, clearly won the second and third round, but the UFC's a joke, so they robbed him. Ian Gary's a joke, MVP won this fight, fuck Ian Gary, that cuck loser, and his whore wife. That's all I gotta say about that. To go into the second fight of the main card, a fight that was shockingly really good. As we had two women's bantamweight weight class I was shitting on earlier, funny enough, for a fight that again was shockingly really good, between Macy Chiasson versus Mayra Bueno Silva. Yeah, like I said, a very shockingly good fight, and I'm not even I will keep saying this, I'm not even a person who shits on women's MMA for no reason, but I did not have much faith in this fight being pretty good. It was pretty good. Round one was a very good round for Mayra Bueno Silva. Excuse me, it's 4:20 and at night. My bad. Mayra took round one, looked very good on the feet, was able to land the better shots, some really strong kicks and shit, so just a lot of good shots. And then round two begins. Chiasson comes out a little more aggressive. They end up on a mat. I think Chiasson got a trip, I believe. I might be wrong, but I know Chiasson ended up on top of Mayra. And eventually she landed a vicious elbow right above Mayra's right eye, and not long after, the doctor stepped in to check on it, and he gave the referee the option of what to do, and he stopped the fight because it was a bad cut. So, Macy Chiasson wins by doctor stoppage 2 minutes into round two, and for once, the rare time of doctor stoppage is actually very understandable because that was one of the worst cuts we've seen in a long fucking time. It was bleeding like a motherfucker. It was deep. And it was a very, very understandable doctor stoppage. I'm not upset. No matter who I picked. I know I was one of the people backing Chiasson as an underdog. And I'm happy I got my pick right. But, yeah, no matter who had the cut, no matter fucking who I picked, Chiasson should have won this fight by doctor stoppage in that moment. She did, so good shit. Again, yeah, not really much to say. It was a good fight as long as it lasted, and it ended very logically with a, like I said, I might put the cut in the thumbnail in some shape or form. It was not a giant cut, but it was long enough to where, A, it was way too deep, and B, it was bleeding like fucking crazy. So, yeah, it's a very understandable doctor stoppage. So, I'm not upset. I don't know who really would be outside Mayra Bueno Silva, and that's just a fighter being a fighter. Simple as that. I'll start with Macy Chiasson first. What a win. 2 in a row now. 2024 looking like a good year for her, and now on a 2-fight winning streak, beating Chiasson and Mayra Bueno Silva. She's on a nice roll right now, and a win like this puts her in the top 3 of the division. Who does she fight now? Ketlen Vieira probably. I completely forgot Ketlen Vieira. I thought the top 3 was Pennington, Pena, and Kayla. No. Yep, Macy Chiasson, Ketlin Vieira, definitely probably what makes most sense, since Pena's going to fight Pennington, Kayla Harrison will probably fight the winner of that, and then Macy Vieira will fight the winner of that probably. So yeah, Chiasson now in the top 3, nice win. It's crazy that at the beginning of the year Chiasson was barely on the radar, was off for 2 years, and was ranked fucking low as shit. I forget what she was ranked going into the Kianzad fight, but it was like she was like a little lower than she was here, so she was like 9 or 8, I swear, and now she's in the top 3 on a 2-fight winning streak on the verge of a title shot. Good for Chiasson, man. She's really gotten better as a fighter, and she's young, 32 years old still, and she's good. She's finally hitting her fucking stride as a fighter. She's being able to do better work. She's landing, her striking has gotten better, her grappling's very good. She's using her size very effectively. She's a good fighter. She's a really good fighter, and she deserves this fucking top 3 ranking, and she deserves a fight with Ketlin Vieira. So, good win, her first pay-per-view win, and made the most of it. Good for her. And then for Mayra Bueno Silva, how quick it could all come crashing down. I think about a year ago, she was the hottest shit. She just beat Holly Holm. A little under a year ago. She just beat Holly Holm. She's on a 4-fight winning streak. She's getting a title shot next. Blah blah blah. Now she's on a 2-fight losing streak and is gonna probably be you can make the case she should be fucking like 6. So she's kind of got exposed as a fighter. Raquel exposed her, and then Macy did. Like, her striking is subpar. Her grappling is very good, but she has no cardio. She really doesn't seem like she has a lot of heart. In the Pennington fight, we definitely saw that. In this fight, we kind of saw it. She's kind of a quitter, and her cardio is not good. Her striking is okay. Her grappling, again, is fine. She's kind of just Like, she kind of did, if you really look at that winning streak that got her a title shot, like, Yanan Wu, a can, Stephanie Egger, not a good fighter, Lena Landsberg, who is 40, and Holly Holm, who is 40. So, she's just not a great fighter, and every time she fights someone decent, she loses. Manon, Raquel, Chiasson. I'm not saying she's a bad fighter, but I think she kind of an overachiever. Because someone of her skill set, which is not a lot of skill, should really have never been in the top fucking rankings of division in a title fight. She should have always been where, like, fucking Karahosa is. Like, a very mid fighter, so. And now she's gonna be going back down to that area, so. Who will she fight next? Got some options for her. Irene should fight Tate. So that leaves maybe her and Karahosa. I don't know if they're training partners or some shit, but I don't hate that idea. Hosa, or is Norma Dumont booked right now? But should they even do that fucking fight? Not really. So, yeah, actually, so I'd say either Norma Dumont or Karahosa. Again, is Norma booked right now? I know Hosa ain't. Norma Dumont is currently not booked, so yeah, Dumont or Karahosa would make the most sense for Mayra Bueno Silva. So we'll see that happen. I've not seen anyone say they should rematch, cause I don't know why Chiasson would fight Mayra again. She beat her. A doctor stoppage is still a win, cause Macy caused the cut that ended the fight. So yeah, that's a doctor stoppage win for Macy Chiasson. So, not very much else to say. Besides, who should I fight next? I like Macy Chiasson versus Ketlin Vieira, and I like Mayra Bueno Silva versus either Karahosa or Norma Dumont. I think for Chiasson, she deserves that Ketlin fight. I think it just makes a lot of sense. Who the fuck is Ketlin gonna fight? So, it makes sense for both. And then for Mayra, gotta go back down to rankings. Let's see how she does. I don't know, let's see her fight Carahosa, in my opinion. I think I like that fight more. I think Dumont should fight Holly Holm. So, yeah, let's see Mayra Bueno Silva versus Carahosa. Who wins that fight? I don't know. We're gonna find out. Hopefully. So, yeah, not very much else to say. Good win for Chiasson. Good showing on pay-per-view. Getting a nasty doctor stoppage. Let's see how far she can go, man. 32 years old. Hitting her fucking stride now. Let's see how she does against Kathleen Veda if they book that. After that, not gonna say anything about this fight because it was god fucking awful. As in our third fight of the night, we head to light heavyweight for Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Smith. This fight was dreadful. Low level as low level gets. A waste of 15 minutes. They both suck. And I don't care to talk about this fight, so I'm not going to. Fucking god-awful fight. And now we get to some crazy shit, as we head to our co-main event of the evening. No, topology ain't broken, no, nothing is glitched. Yes, you do see someone else not named Brian Ortega next to Diego Lopes. I'll talk about that in a second. As in our co-main event of the evening, at a catch weight of 165, we have Diego Lopes versus Dan Ige. So, RX, you ask, why am I saying Dan Ige and not Brian Ortega? For the reason of Brian Ortega got sick on fight day and pulled out. So, what does the UFC do? They get a text message from Dan Ige a couple hours before the fight, for the Lopes fight. UFC fucking, it was the Ige saying he wanted to step in and fight at 165, because he lives right down the road from the arena. He went to the arena, he weighed in, he weighed 165. Lopes weighed 161, and the fight was official on 3 hours notice. And yeah, I'm not fucking joking you. They announced this fight at about 9:30, so right at the end of the prelims, pretty much. So I still can't believe this actually happened. And like, I'll talk about the actual fight in a minute, but this man's a fucking GOAT. Dan Ige, a fucking GOAT. BMF, whatever you want to say. To step in and fight Diego Lopes on pay-per-view with 3 hours notice, that's GOAT shit. And he will always have my respect now. No matter what, he'll always have my respect. I've never been the biggest Dan Ige fan, but from now on, he'll always have my respect. Doesn't mean I'm always gonna pick him, but I'll respect him. This was some BMF shit to the next level. And then same thing with Diego Lopes for taking this fight after all the bullshit with Ortega, fucking having to change away classes, this, that, and the other thing. Respect to Lopes too. He had to change fight opponents as well, so respect to both guys. They're both fucking badasses, and I cannot respect either guy enough. They saved the co-main, because if they didn't fucking do this would have been the co-main, I'm guessing. And so thank you, Diego Lopes, and thank you, Dan Ige. To talk about the actual fight, for the first 2 rounds, Lopes kind of just picked apart Ige, kind of showed which guy was trained and ready to fight and which wasn't. But then in round 3, Ige took over. Lopes did tire out. Ige did take over and win the round, but it was a lot of too little too late, as Diego Lopes already packed the first 2 rounds, and he did win a 29-28 decision. In a great fight. They deserved fight of the night, even if it wasn't that great of a fight, because it was a good fight, but it was amazing. They deserved fight of the night just because this fight was booked during the fucking card. So, one of the most insane things I've ever seen happen on a card. Something you fucking say as a joke could happen. And it did. So, respect to both guys. Again, both BMFs to the highest degree. And I hope both got paid a good fucking penny, because they deserved it. They deserve all the fucking money. And, yeah, I can't say enough good things about these two. So, yeah, not very much else to say about the fight. To get to each fighter real quick, Diego Lopes, now four in a row. Actually, I want to do a quick side note. I'm not upset at Ortega, to be honest, because you gotta remember one big casualty of this fight. It was booked like 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks ago. So you gotta remember, I think the Conor bullshit happened the Thursday before the Robert Whittaker fight. No, am I wrong? About 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think it was the Thursday before Perez Taira, which was 2 weeks ago. Am I right? Yeah, I believe I think I'm right on that. So, yeah, I am right on that, because I remember that. So, yeah, so they had 2 weeks and 2 days to train for this. So, 2 weeks to train and cut weight. That's not going to work for Ortega, a guy who we already know has bad weight cuts to 145. He was never going to make 145 at least healthy in 2 weeks. So I'm not upset at him. I wish he would have pulled out. Well, no, he got sick on a day, so he really had no fucking timetable. So shit happens, man. Shit happens. Heal up, Brian. Go to 155, and we'll leave this chapter behind you. We'll thank you for trying to step in and save the card. You did a great job. And heal up and feel better. And we'll see you when we see you again. Now back to Diego Lopes. 4 fights in a row now. The kid's legit. Anyone giving him shit, which I don't think they are, but if anyone's giving him shit for not finishing Ige or gassing out in the 3rd round, factor in all the bullshit he had to deal with this week. Changing weight classes twice, changing opponents in 3 hours. Noticed. Give the kid a break. He said yes to a fight that was a big fucking risk for him, and he won. So he's now 4-0 since the Evloev fight. I think he deserves a big fight after tonight, and I'll say what I think that is in a minute. But yeah, gotta give the kid respect, man. Kid's really good. I would have loved to see how he would have looked tonight if he did not have to deal with weight and fucking opponent changes. But shit happened. He got to win either way, and that's all that matters. To talk about Dan Ige, yeah, this loss is kind of just whatever. I'm not going to look at this as a big loss on his record because the circumstances. He fucking stepped in on 3 hours notice and lost. Shocker. Yeah, Ige, heal up. He wants to he wants to be on the Sphere card. He deserves to be on that card, and let's see how he does on that card. So, not very much else to say. Heal up, Dan. Thank you for what you did tonight, and the whole MMA community will appreciate you. Now the only thing left to say is, who should they fight next? For Diego Lopes, I have an interesting idea, which I intrigued to see what people will think. I think he should rematch Mansour Evloev, and the winner will get a title shot. Evloev is kind of in limbo right now, since these 3, Ilya included, are doing whatever they're doing for the belt. Ortega's going to 55, Yair just lost. So that kind of leaves Evloev with nobody outside. Maybe he could fight Yair, but eh. So why not let's get a rematch between Diego and Evloev, a full camp Diego Lopes, and the winner gets a title shot. Evloev is 1 fight away from a title shot. Lopes is a fucking animal. Let's see it, man. Let's see a full camp Lopes versus Mansour Evloev in the Sphere. Look it. Let's see the rematch. I'm down. I think Lopes wins. Let's see it happen, man. And then for Dan Ige, he wants to be on the Sphere as well. he deserves the fucking ranking fight. You can't give him an unranked guy. He could fight fucking Giga. I don't think Giga. No, Giga's fighting Jourdain. He could fight shit. Josh Emmett. Yeah, actually, Josh Emmett would work pretty well. Fuck, he could fight Yair. Ige deserves Yair or Emmett. I'm down to see either one. He deserves either one of those fights. And I'm down to see him fight either one of those fights. So, Emmett or Yair for Dan Ige. He deserves it. In the sphere, it'd be a cool fight. And again, he earned it tonight. So, let's book it. Not very much else to say. Great co-main event. Thank you to these two BMFs for saving the co-main. And who should they fight next? I like Diego Lopes versus Mansour Evloev 2. I like Dan Ige versus either Josh Emmett or Yair Rodriguez. I don't think did he fight Josh Emmett? He did, so I would say Dan Ige versus Yair Rodriguez. So, let's see those fights get booked in the sphere. They'd both be fucking bangers. And, yeah, don't really got much else to say. Again, can't say it enough. Thank you to these two BMFs for what they did tonight. We will all remember this, and we all appreciate it. And here we go. Time for the main event of the evening. A rematch for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship of the world. As we have to end International Fight Week, a battle between Alex Poatan Pereira versus Jiří Procházka. Well, this one a little different than the first fight. In round one, a feeling out process for most of it. Late in the round, Jiří did do a little bit of grappling against the cage, but I didn't get too far. Eventually, late in the round, with like 5 seconds left, Jiří blitzed in. Alex countered with a beautiful left hook that really dropped Jiří, but the bell did ring and Jiří was saved. Then round 2 begins. About 5-6 seconds in, Alex Pereira throws a left head kick that hits Jiří square in the fucking head, knocks him out, should have been stopped, but he did take a little bit of ground and pound, and eventually it was over in 13 seconds, and still, Alex Poatan Pereira leaving no doubt this time with the stoppage because Jiří fucking died. So, wow. Just wow. Where do I begin? This is the best fighter in the world. Right now, pound for pound, number one is Alex Pereira. Who's better? Who has done what he has done in 4 years, 3 years? Who has done what he has done in the amount of time he's done it? He's fucking defended the belt. He's won 2 belts. He's defended belts. He's beat a who's who of names. What the fuck else does he have to do to be the pound for pound one? He's better than Islam. He actually fights unlike Jones. He is the best fighter in the world right now, and he keeps proving it every time he walks in that cage. Knocked out Jiří the first time. Knocked out Jamal Hill. Knocked out Jiří even worse the second time. What the fuck does this dude have to do to prove he's the best fighter in the world? At 36 years old, that's the best fighter in the world right now. Until I see someone who's better, or until I see him not lose, that's the best fighter in the world. I can't say much else. I don't know what else I could even add. And then for Jiří, he fought a little smarter, but he also didn't. He did fight a little more composed, but then he also did blitz and get fucking dropped, so Jiří will always fight like Jiří, and that's what lost him this fight. So, heal up Jiří, get back to the drawing board. Simple as that. Gonna be weird to see Jiří non-title contention for a minute, because this was definitely his last chance at with when Alex has the belt. So Jiří is still great. Jiří is still top 3 light heavyweight. Him, Alex, and Ank. But yeah, he's his chances are done right now. Now 2-0 to Alex to take some time off, and we'll see who he fights next. Speaking of who they fight next, who does Alex Pereira fight next? I think it's very obvious. I think that is very obviously Magomed Ankalaev. How do you not do this fight? Ankalaev is the clear-cut #1 contender. He was even before this Jiří fight. He still is. I think at least I know I want to see this fight. I think it's the toughest test for Alex at light heavyweight right now. And if Alex could pass this test, I don't even know what to say. I get they're trying to rush him up to heavyweight to fight fucking Aspinall and all that. But why not let heavyweight clear out first? Let heavyweight do what they have to do. Let them figure out their shit and then send Alex up there. You don't need to send Alex in there. That's just another fucking cork to throw to fuck up the machine. Let everything at heavyweight develop. Let Alex finish off his light heavyweight run by knocking out Magomed Ankalaev, and then we can talk about heavyweight Alex. But right now, Alex needs to fucking focus on Magomed Ankalaev, because that's the clear-cut fight to make. I say UFC 305 or some bullshit? No, 308 I believe. 308 in October in Abu Dhabi. Pereira and Ank. Let's see it. And for Jiří, I have no idea. I don't know how long he's gonna be out for. Depending on how long he's out for, whenever he wants, whenever he comes back, there's a bunch of options for him. Jan, Hill, Krylov, Khalil, a lot of Johnny Walker, even be a fun fight. A lot of options for him. So we'll see what's next for Jiří. Just heal up, brother. Not very much else I can say, man. Pereira is the guy in the UFC right now. He is the best fighter in the UFC right now, and he continues to prove that point night in and night out. Respect to Alex, man. Respect to Jiří, of course, but mainly to Alex, showing why he's the pound-for-pound one. And a win over Ankalaev would solidify that even more than already is solidified. So, yeah, not really much else I can say. Great win for Alex Pereira. One of the best knockouts of the year. Who should he fight next? I like Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. The fight you have to do. The fight that makes most sense. Let's see that in October or November. It'll be a ginormous fight. So let's see it. Not really much else to say. Great win for Alex Pereira. And a great way to close International Fight Week. Boom. That was the card. To go over how I did on picks. I went 10 of 12, only got 2 wrong, that being Smith and Jourdain. I would have got Lopez right as well, but whatever. Yeah, Anthony Smith just got outclassed and Jourdain got knocked out. But you really want me to say? I'm not mad about only getting 2 wrong on a crazy card like this, especially since I did pick a good underdog. Or 2, so I'm not too upset. The bonuses. 1 out 2, we had 4 performance bonuses to Alex Pereira, Macy Chiasson, Joe Pyfer, and Payton Talbott, and we had 5 tonight to Cub and Fili. I would have done this to Pereira, this to Talbott, and I would give 5 tonight to Lopes Ige. I think you're like Pyfer, sure, I guess. Chiasson, I think you're pushing it. And then 5 tonight to Cub and Fili over Ige. Like, Lopes Ige was not the greatest fight ever, but Jesus, it deserves it. It deserves it. And then the only thing left to say is, if you missed a card, what would I say you should go back and rewatch? I would say Oliveira, just because that was a really good performance. The whole prelims, this was just really good shit from top to bottom. And then Chiasson, Lopes, and Pereira. You can completely skip. I'd say you can completely skip these. This, and this. So you're pretty much watching a good quarter of the card. So a lot of great moments happen on this card. A lot of good finishes, and yeah, a lot to rewatch if you didn't miss it. So yeah, not a bad card. Disappointing. Again, I do think there was a couple duds on this card. So, but for as many duds as we had, we did have a lot of we did have some bangers. So, not very much else to say. Very good way to close out International Fight Week, and a very good way to go into a break week, which I do think is very needed. We got 4th of July week coming up. We still got The Ultimate Fighter on every Tuesday, so at least we got that to watch in this fightless week. And when we come back in 2 weeks on July 8th or some bullshit, no, the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I think it's the 13th. I'll tell you how correct I am. I believe it's the 13th. Yeah, July 13th, you'll hear from me July 12th, Friday, 1 p.m. EST, for a breakdown of UFC Denver, Namajunas versus Cortez. God fucking kill me. Yeah, that card is god fucking awful, and I'm not upset we don't have that card this week or next week, because that card definitely does need time to develop, because there's 8 fights on it right now. So yeah, let's give that card a little bit of time. But yeah, besides that, International Fight Week, very fun. Good card. Was it the best card in the world? No. Was it the card of the year? God, no. I would say it's on the level of $2.99 for the second best pay-per-view for the year. Which do I think is better? I'd lean $2.99, but I would really have to look into that. Both cards are very good. Both had a lot of good moments, and it was just a really fun experience. So, another great International Fight Week in the books. And now let's head into a fun break week. So, as we recuperate and get ready for another round of UFC bullshit. Like a terrible roast on the Namajunas main event. Can't wait. But, yeah, enough of me rambling. Unless I'm going to say something, which I don't think I am. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of 2024. And again, unless I'm going to say something, which I'm really thinking, I don't think I am. I think I hit every note I wanted to hit. As always, RX out. Good vibes only, and Shaman. Always.